I'm Morgan Hawes, and this is my case study analysis presentation, Public Management Lessons from Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. Beth Israel Hospital was founded in 1916 by the Jewish community of Boston. The development of this hospital gave Jewish doctors an opportunity to practice medicine in the greater Boston area. The Beth Israel Hospital was well known for its nursing staff, and its mission was to create a high-class academic medical center known not only for its quality of research and teaching, but quality of care. The Deaconess Hospital was founded in 1896 by Methodist deaconesses. This stemmed from a movement out of Germany where emphasis was placed on caring for the sick and poor, primarily by women. A focus on surgery began in the 1920s. Both hospitals became affiliated with Harvard Medical School. The Beth Israel and Deaconess hospitals merged in 1996 as a response to pressures from the merger of Brigham and Mass General Hospital, which created the Partners healthcare system. There was a popular belief circulating that building larger hospital systems would allow organizations to gain market share, in addition to profits from absorbing community physicians, who would feed into the larger hospital system. In 1996, under the guidance of President Mitch Rabkin, Beth Israel merged with 5 other hospitals, including Deaconess, to form the Care Group system. Within 2 years of the Beth Israel Deaconess merger, the hospital started to experience significant financial losses. Annual losses totaling over $50 million became a trend between 1998 and 2001. In addition, due to changes in the Balanced Budget Act of 1996, Medicare billing caused hospital reimbursement rates to decline, and Medicare had previously been one of the hospital's best payers. Paul Levy joined Harvard Medical School as an executive director in 1998. Part of his position entailed working as a liaison between the dean and Harvard's affiliated hospitals. It was through this experience that Paul first became acquainted with the dire circumstances surrounding the Beth Israel Deaconess Hospital. 3 years later, Jim Weinstein, the CEO of Beth Israel Deaconess, was removed, and a search was created to find his replacement. Paul became the new CEO in January of 2002. The Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center is an affiliate of Harvard Medical School and receives roughly 125 residents per year. It is also the largest recipient of biomedical research funding from the National Institute of Health. There are approximately 1,200 physicians and 4,500 full-time employees working at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. The hospital serves more than 500,000 people each year. Its mission is to provide extraordinary care where the patient comes first, supported by world-class education and research. Culture springs from 3 sources: the beliefs, values, and assumptions of the founders of the organization, the learning experiences of group members as their organization evolves, and the new beliefs, values, and assumptions brought in by new members and leaders. Founders have a particular influence as they create an initial vision that becomes embedded in the culture of the organization as part of a shared history among group members. Staff will cling to this vision and the traditions of the organization until such a time when the group fails or breaks apart. In the case of the Beth Israel Deaconess, it is easy to see that there were issues with organizational culture which carried over from the merger. Part of the problem was that leaders were trying to merge together 2 cultures with completely different missions and values. There were also issues with leadership, as decisions regarding whether or not a merger was even appropriate were heavily influenced by external threats, the competition from Partners healthcare system, as well as general pressure to renew the organization based on the political priorities of the 90s. Following the merger, leaders made the decision to focus on clinical integration instead of integrating back-office functions like partners did. This created hostility and mistrust, eventually resulting in financial losses. Financial trouble set in quickly, and as the organization began to decline, it faced internal issues as well, such as overstaffing and ineffective management and communication structures. When Paul Levy arrived on the scene, the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center was still in its entrepreneurial stage. Paul was confident and driven to succeed. Using a business mentality to focus on the administrative and managerial issues that Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center had been experiencing, he was able to marshal resources and create a plan to make the hospital viable and worth saving. He revitalized the agency by emphasizing a shared mission focused on quality of care. He used a strategic planning process to engage staff at all levels to participate and have a voice in the recommendations based on the Hunter Report. He developed the organization's leadership and culture by restructuring the board of directors to a reasonable size in order to support a solution-focused mentality, and enhanced management systems by asking chiefs to be accountable for their clinical outputs. Paul responded to the decline of the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center by increasing hierarchical control, improving productivity, reducing staff, freezing merit increases, selling or renting surplus property, and expanding services into areas that would produce income, such as surgery and medical research. Paul was able to establish a successful implementation of organizational change by using the following measures. He ensured the need, making people aware of the current circumstances of the hospital and its realities, and offered a vision for change. He provided a plan based on the recommendations from the Hunter Report, while also including input from the employees. He built internal support and overcame resistance to change by encouraging active participation from employees, posting the plan on the hospital intranet site, thus demonstrating transparency and reducing resistance to change. He ensured top management support and a commitment by receiving support from the very beginning during the hiring process from the board of directors and the attorney general to try and save Beth Israel Deaconess. He also built external support, reaching out to presidents from the other care group system hospitals. He provided resources in the form of feedback and performance recognition, and institutionalized change, monitoring the implementation of change throughout the organization at all levels, requiring decisions and communication with management to travel through him first. He also pursued comprehensive change, establishing the need for changes in subsystems, such as the way the chiefs responded to and engaged in the management process for their departments and the hospital at large. By the 6-month mark, financial results were determined to be consistently better than budgeted. There were 2 profitable months, and 5 out of 6 months experienced a positive cash flow. Lessons to be learned here. Effective leaders engage stakeholders during the strategic planning process and do not make decisions without a general consensus of the topic at hand. They know that staff buy-in is an effective way to achieve results, and without it, individuals will likely make decisions outside of protocol. They know to establish trust through the use of transparency. It provides staff with the feeling of being in the loop and engenders a sense of community. It also reduces ambiguity and serves to reinforce a positive, constructive, connected culture within the organization. They develop a shared mission. This is vital to the success of the organization. The vision will also play off of this mission and provide a path to sustainability and goals and objectives. Actions speak louder than words. It's not enough to know that issues exist and even to know what the solutions are. A leader must be able to translate thoughts into actions, executing and implementing a plan that negotiates the priorities of the organization and its group members. The leaders of Beth Israel Deaconess had hired numerous consultants to develop plans for implementing improvements, but they expressed that there was pushback from doctors and staff, so there was never any follow-through on the recommendations that were made. So what can be done in a situation like this? Establish an environment that supports open communication across departments and the system at large. This can help break apart or prevent silos from forming. Hold people accountable for their actions and inactions. This reinforces the importance and role of every staff member, particularly managers. Managers must lead by example, and in order to make sure rules are being followed, conformity must be emphasized, although not at the expense of innovation. Ongoing evaluation progress should be shared consistently with staff. Celebrate successes and achievements along the way. Finally, effective leaders use influence to create change. If it had not been for Paul's background and knowledge of the hospital's circumstances and his ability to convince the Attorney General that he could do this job, the hospital would most likely have been sold.